Hello, I'm the Hood Trucker, and this is the Hood Trucker News. I lost my phone. What do I do with my phone? I had the clips on it. I'm gonna review some clips, and I lost it. Hold on. Sorry about that. Okay. Here's what happened. Donald Trump. Oh, first, hit that like button if you want to join the conversation. The link is there. Should be at the top. It's starred. I don't know what starred means, but it should be at the top. Um, and you can go ahead and hit that to if you want to voice your opinion. Can't guarantee you're gonna be on the screen though, because I'll be doing some crazy stuff. But um, if you want to join though, the comments is coming in. I just released some videos this morning. Comments is coming in. I'm looking at it right now. If you want to join the thing, go ahead and hit the link. Trump gave a deranged speech in Las Vegas where he's saying all kinds of stuff. I got the clips. That's why I needed the phone. Because we're gonna play them. We're definitely gonna play the clips. He made some claims that I don't know how you can make those claims, but Donald Trump supporters have made it possible that he can say whatever he wants to, and y'all believe it. Partly because the word woke has been bastardized by the Republican Party and most recently Ron DeSantis. And he's basically saying that woke is bad. So if you're saying that woke is bad and trying to say that woke means, gender reaffirming surgery and all that, and that's not what it means. That means like when they are talking about how they had Joe Biden on a robocall through AI, how you don't just say, okay, this is Joe Biden, and he's telling me that that they're extending the election 48 hours. You don't have to vote. You don't have to vote today. You got an extra 48 hours. So just to take that and run with it means you're asleep, anti-woke, whatever you want to call it. If you go and take that phone call and say, this sounds a little strange, go to the internet, Google or whatever, and then punch that in and see if it's, first of all, even if it's even possible for him to do that, which I don't think it is. And then secondly, if it's actual true, some other kind of way, that's what woke is. Woke is you don't take something in the ear and then you just keep it and you don't do nothing with it. Woke, if you hear something, you see something, right? You do something about it, or you try to do something about it, or at least voice your opinion. So that's what woke is. People don't understand, or people don't want you to be woke. They bastardize the philosophy of being woke, so that you turn a blind eye or you look negative on it. You don't even want to do that because guess what? We released 7 videos yesterday. We probably got 50 comments or so telling me to wake up. Okay, so if you're telling me to wake up, but being woke is bad, why are you telling me to wake up? See, they've gotten you thinking like an idiot to think that woke is something different than being awake. And simply challenging the information that's out there and wanting to not be a believer, but looking at things that could prove what's being said or not or disprove what's being said. That's what woke is. But they don't want you Republican Party don't want you to be awake because they want to be able to tell you anything, which is why we're going to look at these clips. Donald Trump just says whatever's on top of his head. And you know why he can do that? Because y'all believe it. And it's a proven fact that y'all believe it. Because in the comments that I got yesterday, Trump talking points. Y'all didn't even bother to research. Just Trump talking points. Just right off the bat. For sure. Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate you. That's a member right there. Awesome supporter. You know, you can tell he can say anything he wants, and he also is a hypocrite, right? Because I remember I don't know if you remember. If you're a Trump supporter, you probably do remember. If you've been a Trump supporter for any length of time over the past few years, he said when he was talking about or referring to the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, where he was saying that he shouldn't kneel, it's un-American, all that. It was protest. That's a form of protest, right? But they were, and then during that time he said, if you don't like it here, you can leave. Remember he said that? I don't know if you remember or not. He actually said it. If you don't believe me, if you want to be woke, you can go look at it yourself. You can pull it up, right? Trump actually said, if you don't like it here, you can leave. But this whole video that we're about to review is a compilation of a bunch of complaints that he's saying he don't like it here. So if you telling people that if they don't like it here, why is it that you sitting here complaining about the whole country? It's bad. It's not American. All this is election interference. Leave then. Leave. You can leave. See how that works? See what's good for the goose is not good for the gander when it comes to Donald Trump. We're also going to show how Trump is a hypocrite when he says that Joe Biden repeats things over and over and over, wanting you to believe them. Who does that sound like? Who does that sound like? They call that in the psychological arena. They call that projection. That's when you say the other person does what you do. So you're speaking down because they do this particular thing, but you actually do it. That's projection. We're going to show that. What else? Oh, and we're going to also look at another clip that says a Republican Reagan appointed judge, right, slams Republican for false January 6th rhetoric. Meaning when you're calling somebody who's gotten sentenced to prison a hostage, you're calling them a hostage because they committed a crime and they got convicted of a jury of their peers. You're calling them a hostage. You know what that does? That undermines faith in the legal system, right? Now, I've been in the legal system, right? I know it's corrupt, right? But for Donald Trump and for Donald Trump to have all these indictments and all these charges, you got people on camera doing vandalizing and assaulting people on camera, and then you're going to say that these are political prisoners or hostages and all that kind of stuff. It's insane. But guess what? They know that MAGA will jump on board because MAGA don't like woke. MAGA don't like woke. They like sleep. and therefore they can tell you anything and you believe it and you run with it and then you add your own stuff in on top of that. It's crazy. So let's get started. The speech happened yesterday. Right? He was in Las Vegas and he was campaigning and he said a bunch of crazy stuff. and we're gonna listen to it and we're gonna comment on it.
I said, "Is it tough?" He said, "Yeah, it's a tough test. The first couple of questions are easy, like they have a lion, a giraffe."
This is where he's talking about the cognitive part, right? There's a bunch of talk going around. He mistaken Nikki Haley for Nancy Pelosi, and there's been a bunch of gaffes that's really showing his fogginess of his brain, and they're questioning his cognitive abilities. And this is a test, I believe he's referring to the one he took prior or before he left the office. And he's referring to that, and his explanations is absolutely ridiculous. But he knows that you'll believe it. I'm talking to the Trump supporters. He knows that you'll believe it. That's why he says
a whale and a shark. And they'll say, which one's the lion, okay? And that's all the press covered, the first question. They didn't cover the last question. Multiply 4,733. Multiply times 7. Divide without paper and pencil, by the way.
This dude said on a cognitive test, they giving you complex mathematic computations that you need to do in your head. You don't have any pencil and paper. Let's run it back for a second. Let's just in case you didn't believe me. He said they want you to do math with no pencil and paper on a cognitive test.
4,733. Multiply times 7. Divide without paper and pencil, by the way. Divide it by 4. Add up another 37 and a half, 0.5. I remember that. What's your number? How many people in this room can do it? Not too many.
You notice he didn't tell you the number, right? Did you notice he didn't tell you the number? Nobody's going to ask you to do that. That's algebra. If you say add this, multiply that, divide that, then add this, that's an algebraic equation. Nobody's asking you to do an algebraic equation with no pencil and paper. Stop it. That's ridiculous. On a cognitive test. A cognitive test means that they're testing whether or not you have the basic brain functionality of a normal person. They want to know if you are a little bit above. I don't think they care if you're a little below. I don't think they care if you're above, but you certainly don't want to be president if you're cognitively below an average person. Now, they're not going to ask you algebraic equations, meaning add this, multiply that, divide that, add this. That's an algebraic equation with no pencil or paper or pen or nothing. No calculator, no nothing. And you're going to come up with the answer. Get out of here, dude. Don't nobody believe that other than MAGA.
When they give you 6 names in a row, I took a lot of heat on this. They give you 6 names in a row at the beginning. Sir, I'm going to give you 6 names. Good. Okay, look at them. A chair, a hat, a badge, a necklace, and they vote. Those things. We're going to give you 6 things. And I say, good, what's going on? Can you read?
I can. Sounds more like the actual test. He added the other one in, but this sounds more like the actual test.
Name them. So I name them. And they go back, and if you can do it in order, that's even better. I do them in order. Perfect. Then they come back to you 30 minutes later at the end. Last question. They say, what were those 6 things? That there aren't too many people. And they laughed. Everyone said, oh, that's so easy. There's only about 2% of this room can do it, but I did it. I did it very easily. But I got mocked. They said, oh, that's so easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. Go home and try doing it, okay?
They actually cheered that. They cheered that he could remember 6 things in 30 minutes. First of all, I don't believe they came back in 30 minutes. They came back in How long was the test? How long was the cognitive test? Is it 30 minutes long? Because it'd have to be longer than 30 minutes if they told you that, they gave you the algebraic equation, all of that, and then came back 30 minutes later. And they cheered. They cheered. You know why? Because they believe that garbage. because you're asleep. You're not woke because woke is bad. Remember, you're asleep. That's why they cheer.
Ronnie, I'd like to take a cognitive test. I never heard of it before, but whatever it is.
He's spending a lot of time on these cognitive stuff, right? This is a whole totally different part of the speech, right? But he's talking to somebody else. I mean, he spent a lot of time on that cognitive. Never really explained what's going on with the Nikki Haley stuff. He had some BS explanation, but there ain't no explanation for mistaking one person for another. Saying Obama's the president. Now I understand that. Now, I do understand that when you say Obama is the president, that's that QAnon stuff, and he wants to appease the radical right wing, the bigots, and all of that, and the QAnon people. He wants to curry favor with them. So he'll say some of their conspiracy theories and some of their talking points to include them in the mix because he needs the vote, right? And then he's gonna continue to talk about this, but he's gonna move on to some other things.
Tests. I've always liked tests. Tests are very interesting. And I had an uncle. He's the longest serving professor.
Oh, this is really crazy right here. This is really crazy. This is where it goes to I'm smart by association.
Dr. John Trump. In the history of MIT, same genes. We have genes. We're smart people. We're smart people. We're like race. Mr. Lieutenant Governor, we're like resources too. The fast ones produce the fast ones, and the slow ones doesn't work out so well, right? But we're no different in that sense.
He's smart by association because his uncle is a professor at MIT. That means he's smart too. How do you explain his sons then? How do you explain his sons who are idiots? Anyway, smart by association is crazy. Like, what y'all to believe? And look, they cheered that. They cheered that. They actually cheered that. It's crazy. This is amazing.
It all works out. Somehow, people say, "How do you do it, sir? How do you do it?" I get two questions. If you had it to do again, would you do it? Because in history, they say the president that was treated the worst was Abraham Lincoln, but he had the Civil War, so he had a little Civil War going. Abraham Lincoln. And Jackson was treated very badly. And a couple of others were treated. Andrew Jackson, he was treated very badly. And a few others. And I haven't seen the new list, but if I'm not number one over Abraham Lincoln, I will be very disappointed because I don't believe any president's ever been. I'd rather have.
He's complaining. He's being treated the worst. Remember how you said if you don't like it here, you can leave? Why you ain't left yet? Why you ain't left yet? You got a jet? Why you ain't left yet? He also wants to say that he's being treated the worst. Or maybe if you didn't have sensitive documents in the bathroom. Maybe if you didn't defame people so regularly, they gave you $60 million judgment in punitive damages alone. So it was 83 total. 60 something of it was punitive, means they're punishing you. They wanted to send a message so you'll shut up. We'll see if it works.
No bill, but a bad bill. A bad bill you can't have.
Oh, here's all you can talk because all of these is in responses to some things that's been going on here, right? So in the news, it's been said, Mitt Romney said that he is using the border crisis as he's telling the Republicans to not pass a bill because he wants the border crisis to still exist when he starts to really get into the general election so that he can hammer Joe Biden on that. So here's what's going to happen. They're going to create a bill, and the Republicans are going to they call it DOA, dead on arrival. They're going to kill it as soon as it hits the table. They're not even going to consider it. And what Since he knows that he can tell you anything, he's going to tell you it's a bad bill. Guess what? Nobody's seen the bill. Nobody's seen the bill. But guess what? If if you are saying it's all or nothing, then what are you saying? You're saying that what people are saying about you, in that you want to use this issue as a campaign issue against Biden. Because listen, I'm of the opinion, if you're talking about all these people that's being killed by fentanyl and all this other stuff, and all these people coming in on the border and all of that, it has to be perfect, or you can't get none. It's like you're gonna let uh perfect be the enemy of the good, so it has to be absolutely perfect. This is why, because if you're gonna claim that it's a bad bill, you want this bill to be perfect, or don't sign it. If you don't sign it, I can come along and tell you to sign it when I become president, or when I get around, so that I can claim credit for that. It's politics. If you think it's anything other than politics, you're a lunatic. He just lied to you and said that on a cognitive test, you're giving him algebraic equations with no pencil. And he's solving it no problem. Man, get up out of here. Get up out of here with that garbage.
And that's what was happening in the House. As you know, the Speaker, who's, by the way, I think he's going to prove to be a very good speaker. It's tough when you have a very small.
No, you know why he's good? You know why he's good? Because he does everything he says. If you do everything he says, you're good. If you don't do everything he says, you're bad. Ask ask the Attorney General, Bill Barr. He did everything he said while he was he's a great Attorney General, and until he started to set some boundaries for what he's willing to do. Like he wasn't willing to say that the election was stolen and all that, because he knows that there's no proof of it. So you lose credibility when you just spew stuff out there and just so you can appease Donald Trump, and then come back and there's no evidence. Look at Rudy Giuliani. His whole entire existence is ruined. He did a bunch of work to put the mob in jail. His reputation is trash. He can't even practice he can't even practice law anymore. All why? So he can appease Donald Trump. And guess what? Donald Trump is not paying his legal bills. He most certainly ain't finna pay that $153 million he got for defamation against the two people that had nothing to do with anything fraudulent with the elections, let alone what he claimed that they did. They were just election workers. Picked them out. Could have even picked them out because they was black. He didn't mention anybody white. Who knows? I mean, that's up for debate. But he ruined his whole reputation behind that.
Majority. Very tough. Mike Johnson, Speaker. He just said it's dead on arrival in the House. It's dead on arrival.
Of course he did, because you told him.
Either a strong bill or no bill, and whatever happens, happens.
You're crying about fentanyl coming over, and now you're saying whatever happens, happens. Whatever happens, happens now. That's how. Listen, people will tell you. They sometimes they're trying to be so. They're withholding their true self, so then it's so tight that some of it slips out. Whatever happens, happens. You're crying about the border and all this fentanyl and all these people and the blood of the country and all of that, but don't sign the bill, and whatever happens, happens.
But this is the single greatest threat to our country right now.
It's the single greatest threat to the country, and you're saying whatever happens, happens. Yeah, you're really sincere.
I am the only candidate who can make this promise to you.
Yeah, here he goes with the promises that he knows that you're gonna. It's red meat. He knows you're gonna chew it up with no proof, nothing. He said that Mexico is gonna pay for that wall. They still ain't wrote a check yet. I mean, all kinds of stuff. He just makes promises, just grandiose promises, because he knows you're going to eat it up.
I will prevent World War III.
So if World War III never, you know who did? You know who's preventing World War III too? Joe Biden. Ain't no World War III, so that means automatically means that um, Barack Obama prevented World War III. That means that Joe Biden prevented World War III. That means that George Bush prevented war. Every president in history has prevented World War III. What are you talking about?
1 hour. All you do is 1 hour. You have to treat the first one out the door of the next.
Yeah, so here's is where he talks about how he's going to deal with crime. Now, mind you, this dude is embroiled in a big criminal investigation, civil investigation. He's got indictments and he's got charges. So in my eye, you are the same person that you're about to talk about, and this is how you're going to treat them. Yeah, they're low-level criminals, shoplifter. He talked about the shoplifting problem, right? Low-level criminals. These are non-violent most of the time. If you're shoplifting, there's no violence involved with shoplifting. If you do something else beyond that, you get charged with something else. But he talking about shoplifting. He can solve it in an hour. So you're gonna solve shoplifting how he says, right? But cry about how you're being treated. Let's roll it.
Assignment happens extremely tough. That means anything you want to do. And as soon as that word gets out and you let people know, from now on, you don't walk out with aspirin. We will protect innocent.
See what he said that? See what he said that? Let's rewind it. Because he's not talking about himself. He's talking about everybody else. You know why? Because he's a hypocrite.
All you do is 1 hour. You have to treat the first one out the door of the next time it happens extremely tough. That means anything.
He's not even being treated extremely tough. So, but he's not looking at himself as a criminal. He don't think, because he thinks he's above the law. That's why he wants complete immunity. He said you can't have a president that doesn't have complete immunity. I mean, immunity to the point where I could kill somebody and don't get no and be immune to that. He needs immunity like that. Why? So he can steal them secrets and not get indicted. That's why. So he can sell them secrets to somebody else in case he get broke. Now he got something valuable that other countries would break their neck to bend over backwards to get their hands on, and you got them, and you can sell them. He knows he about to go broke. He knows he got to go broke.
What you want to do, and as soon as that word gets out, and you let people know, from now on, you don't walk out with aspirin.
Now look at what he says. It takes 1 hour. I will fix the shoplifting in 1 hour. He just says whatever comes on top of his head. You know why? Because he knows you're gonna believe it. Now, listen to what else he said. He said you're gonna do it in an hour, and then he said you be hard on that person, and as soon as the word gets out, it's gonna stop. You're gonna do all of that in an hour. Yay, Trump! Yay! You're gonna do it in an hour. Idiots.
We will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech. And I will secure the elections like never have been secured before.
We will restore free speech. When was free speech taken? Did somebody tell him, or maybe I could tell you, that just because there's such thing as free speech doesn't mean you can say whatever you want to, especially in court. You can't just spew off whatever you want to in court. That those things that you're talking about in court, those things that you talk about in certain arenas, is restricted. You can't yell fire in a movie theater. Is that free speech? You're freely able to speak it, but that's not considered free speech because you're endangering the lives. You shouldn't be able to say, it's going to be wild. Come down here. The country's not going to be taken back with weakness, only with strength. Come on. That's why You got all them people that's going to jail right now going to jail. Why? Because they believed it. You incited a riot. Inciting a riot is not free speech. I'm sorry. But MAGA believes that.
Maybe 8 times that amount. We cannot let this happen to our country. As the leader of our party, there is zero chance I will support this horrible open borders betrayal.
Look how he frames it. Open borders, betrayal, all this negative stuff. Kind of like the way they do woke. I just explained what woke is. Kind of like the way they do that. Well, look, I don't care nothing about gender reaffirming surgery. I don't think. Listen, I'm woke. Yet I don't think you should be able to change your gender until you turn 18. If you can't buy beer, then you shouldn't be able to go in there and get a surgery. That are cosmetic, basically, because you think at an age that your brain's not even fully developed yet that you want to change something. Guess what? I'm still woke. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that if you were a man, competed in a sport as a man 2 years ago, that you should be able to compete as a woman 2 years later. I don't believe that either. I'm still woke though. I'm not gonna listen to this clown and accept everything he says and cheer for it regardless. That's what y'all do. Guess what? Y'all sleep. Y'all sleep. I'm woke. Y'all sleep. They told you what woke was and you ran with it. Guess what? You sleep. You didn't even go bother to even look at what the definition is in the dictionary. You say what they said. You repeat what they said. Guess what that is? That's not anti-woke. That's sleep.
Of America, it's not going to happen. I noticed that, and I'll fight it all the way. I noticed a lot of the senators are trying to say respectfully they're blaming it on me. I said, that's okay. Please blame it on me. Please. Because they were getting...
Because he knows it ain't going to be no ramifications. Blame it on him. But blame it on him because right or wrong, y'all going to believe whatever he say anyway. So go ahead, blame it on him. He don't care.
Ready to pass a very bad bill. And I'll tell you what, a bad bill is, I'd rather have no bill than a bad bill. A bad bill you can't have. And that's what was happening in the House.
There's no proof that it's a bad bill. Nobody's seen the bill. Nobody's even seen it. He definitely ain't going to show it to you. He ain't going to explain to you what it is. He just going to say it's bad. Guess what? They said that woke was bad. Y'all ran with it. Oh, they said it was what? Okay, it's bad. The bill is bad. They tell you the bill is bad now. Oh, the bill is bad? Okay, the bill is bad. That's not woke. That's sleep. Oh, and by the way, again, y'all telling me to wake up. Who's really asleep? If y'all believe in this clown and saying that woke is bad, being awake and aware and all that, didn't even bother to go to the dictionary and find out what it is. There's a clip of that lady on that news show who asked her what she was like, I don't know, it's gonna be viral. Yes, because you listening to them people tell you that it's bad. Now they tell you the bill is bad. Guess what you're gonna do? Believe them.
So now Biden is trying to gaslight the American public.
Oh, this is crazy right here. Like, if you don't understand that Donald Trump is a hypocrite after I show you this, because he says he's actually gaslighting while he's talking about Joe Biden gaslighting, right? He's projecting. He's doing everything in the psychological world that says you a hypocrite. He's doing it all right now, and I'm gonna show you. Watch.
By claiming that his border disaster is Republicans' fault. It's the Republicans' fault. Look at these great people, all big shot politicians. It's your fault. Even though we had the safest border, the best border in history 3 years ago, he's actually trying to blame us for the border. And I think it's just disgraceful. And that's what they do. They're a party of disinformation. They will take something and they feel if you say it over and over and over again, people will start to believe
it. That's gaslighting. You know why? He does the exact same thing. I'm not saying I don't like Joe Biden. We on Donald Trump right now though, but I'm not saying that Joe Biden. I'm not gonna say that, I'm not gonna say that I'm not saying he's any better, because I mean they're both trash, right? But one trash is a little less trash than the other trash, right? But does Joe Biden do crazy stuff? Yes. He literally does this when he says Joe Biden wants to tell you over and over, because if you say it enough times, you believe it. Look at any of his speeches; they're all repeats. You go to any of his speeches, line 10 of them up, and all 10 of them you're going to say the same thing, and all of them be election interference, it was stolen, all of that. Repeat over, 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 over. Y'all are believing it. Guess what he says about Joe Biden?
To blame us for the border, and I think it's just disgraceful. And that's what they do. They're a party of disinformation.
Oh, by the way, he said blame us for the border. Blame the Democrats for his court cases. He's doing exactly what he's saying that Joe Biden does. He's doing exactly what he's saying Joe Biden does.
They will take something, and they feel if you say it over and over and over again, people will start to believe it.
Since when is Donald Trump ever not being known for repeating himself? The election, the interference, the court cases, it's political prosecution, all of this over and over and over and over. When has he not done that? Every speech is about the same thing. Every speech, they have to monitor what he says, because he just be lying and getting the networks in trouble. Fox had to pay $700 something million because they let him just say whatever he wanted to say, and among other people who was saying what they wanted to say on his behalf. Now watch this. Watch this. You say something. He just called Joe Biden a gaslighter, but watch this. He said he believes that if you say it over and over and over, people will believe it. Watch this.
$83.3 million jury award includes $65 million in punitive damages because the jury found this: that Trump acted maliciously, out of hatred, ill will, or spite, vindictively, or out of wanton, reckless, or willful disregard of Ms. Carroll's rights.
Okay, so the jury, not Joe Biden, not Kamala Harris, not the Democratic Party, who else they claim to be, or the deep state or DOJ or whatever. A jury wanted to punish him with $63 million, right? But that was not even a thing. They said that he did all that, right? Now watch what happens. Remember, he just said you repeat the same thing over and over, and so people will believe it, right? Watch this.
This trial weighed quite heavily on Trump, Joyce. This week he shared a ton of vile, false narratives and statements about Carroll.
What'd she say? Vile, false narratives? Let's do it again. He shared a ton of vile, false narratives. Now, we know that they're false because he just got hit with $63 million just to punish him. Vile, false narratives. That's a punishment. That's why they got it, because he's spreading that vile, false narrative. That's why they hit him with $63 million. Watch why, though.
Weighed quite heavily on Trump, Joyce. This week he shared a ton of vile, false narratives and statements about Carroll.
Before the verdict came in. He did that before the verdict came in.
Some of them previously ruled defamatory. Listen to this: 42 posts Monday, 37 Wednesday, and here's the one that really gets me: 14 on Friday while in court.
Now, if Trump can do these massive algebraic equations with no pencil, 47 or 43, I missed what she said, 43 or 47, and then 37. That's 70 something, 80 something. Then you got another 14 while he was in court. He walked out of court in the middle of closing arguments. Disrespectful. He disrespecting them people in there. Put some respect on my name with that $63 million.
On Friday, while in court. That's pretty extraordinary. Do you get the sense that The jury compensated Carroll for all these repeat offenses. And the question is, when will Donald Trump have to pay up? Right. So absolutely the jury considered this. And Roberta...
Absolutely the jury considered this. Absolutely the jury considered this. $63 million in punitive damages because he posted 90-some times, 14 while he was in court. But you saying Joe Biden does that? Oh, okay.
Kaplan, who's E. Jean Carroll's lawyer, made this argument explicit. She said he has previously been found by a jury to be guilty of defamation. They awarded $5 million to Carroll.
That was in the first one. This is the second one. It's 83 plus 5. It's $88 million. And y'all sending the money.
It was not enough to make him stop. Here he is with this entire...
They're saying the 5 wasn't enough to make him stop. They're saying the 5 wasn't enough to make him stop. The attorney for E. Jean Carroll said, y'all got to put a number on him to make him stop because he won't stop.
Barrage of social media posts, including one that said, I can't quote it exactly, but words to the effect of, I've said this before and I will continue to say it, right?
They said, they read that. The jury read that. It said, he said, I'm going to continue. Okay, well, we're going to see. Okay, we're going to hit you with 60 and see if you continue. We're going to, best believe she's coming back. Let him say some more stuff. She coming back and hit him again.
Will continue at what cost? And she highlighted that. And so I think Donald Trump, has no one to thank but himself for this large award of damages.
Yeah, no one but himself. You want to blame on everybody? Oh, which one is political operatives and the judge is corrupt.
Remarkable headlines. The first, a prominent Reagan.
Okay, now we getting on to the judge, right? It was a Republican judge that was appointed by Ronald Reagan when the Republicans were real Republicans. Now, I don't claim to be fond of the old Republican Party or whatever, but I think that they were better than this. Like, one is more trash than the other. MAGA's trash because they believe anything. Now, they were more conservative type, were they on the level or whatever? No. And Reagan, he said some crazy stuff about black people and all kinds of crazy stuff, right? John Wayne, hanging out with John Wayne, all of them, right? But it's different. You had people that would stand up. You had people that would work with people. This right here, though, this is a judge from that era. Old school, OG judge saying that y'all ridiculous.
Remarkable headlines. The first, a prominent Reagan-appointed judge slamming Republicans for their rhetoric around the January 6th insurrection.
Slamming them. Slapped them.
Senior U.S. District Judge Royce Lamberth cited what he called preposterous claims from lawmakers, including Andrew...
Preposterous. It's preposterous.
Clyde, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Elise Stefanik, who said rioters behaved in an orderly fashion and referred to defendants as hostages.
You know why they said that? Because they can do it on. You can go in and throw a tantrum on camera, and they said it was orderly, and y'all don't believe it.
And the second headline is from a member of the Proud Boys who took selfies in the Senate gallery during the riot and was sentenced to 6 years in prison on Wednesday. During a prior hearing, he told a federal judge, quote, "You could give me 100 years and I would still do it all over again."
Because you're delusional. None of that would have done any good. You think they wouldn't have had, well, President Trump was the president at the time, so he may not have been that. But listen, somebody would have called somebody. If that shit, if it got really, really, really out of hand, meaning like they really didn't take this building over, oh, best believe somebody would have overruled somebody somewhere, because you are, as a person in the military, you are not obligated to follow an illegal order. or I think they call it something else. But if it's illegal or I forgot the other word, but there are certain orders that you don't have to follow because it's not right. So if they telling people that if they telling the army that the National Guard or whoever else they doing to stand down and they just tearing up the Capitol, somebody would have overruled something and they'd have to deal with that later. But uh, yeah.
I want to bring in Miles Taylor, former DHS chief.
Okay, Miles Taylor. This is former DHS, Department of Homeland Security for Donald Trump. Trump hired this dude. This is a Trump guy talking.
I want to bring in Miles Taylor, former DHS chief of staff in the Trump administration and co-founder of
In the Trump administration.
the Future U.S. It's a think tank that's launching this year in Washington. He's also the author of Blowback, a warning to save democracy from the next Trump. So, Miles.
He got a book called A Warning to Save Democracy from the Next Trump.
Two of those headlines there. Your reaction to what the judge said?
Well, look, Judge Royce Lamberth, I think, was really spot on when he says this. And as you noted, we have to keep in mind, this is a conservative judge. It's not a Democratic-appointed judge saying this. This is a Reagan-appointed judge calling out the extraordinary rewriting of history, in his words.
The judge said it was an extraordinary rewriting of history. A Reagan-appointed judge, the guy that all conservatives point to as the star of the Republican Party, Ronald Reagan. That guy. He appointed this judge. Judge is OG. Has seen a lot of stuff. Said it's a preposterous rewriting of history. Maybe he didn't say preposterous, but he said something like that.
Reagan-appointed judge calling out the extraordinary rewriting of history, in his words, that has happened since January 6th. And I think there's a couple things here that are worrying. First and foremost, the sort of permissive attitude that the Republican Party and Republican leadership has taken towards criminality is, I think, setting the stage for the possibility that something like this might happen again. But I think it's also undermining them.
He said, let's hear what he said again. He said, what he said?
First and foremost, the sort of permissive attitude.
The permissive attitude towards criminality. Like you saying you might pardon some of them people. That's being permissive. That means you're giving them people permission to do it again.
The Republican Party and Republican leadership has taken towards criminality is, I think, setting the stage for the possibility that something like this might happen again.
Setting the stage for a possibility for something like this might happen again. If you don't throw that clown in jail, it's going to happen again. If he gets elected, it's going to happen again. If you don't throw that clown in jail and you let him do that, he's going to pardon everything, wipe everything slate clean. He's going to be fine. That's why he's running for president, because he don't care about the country. He's trying to get them cases up off of him. That's why he's running for president. Has nothing to do with the country. Please, knock it off.
But I think it's also undermining Americans' confidence in the rule of law. And you see how astounded some Republicans were behind the scenes when this shift started to happen. And that shift started to happen as soon as 2 weeks after January 6th. And Liz Cheney writes about it in her book, saying that she and other members of the Republican caucus were astounded when Kevin McCarthy went down and did a photo op with.
Because he kissing the ring. Because he knows that MAGA is strong, right? Because there's a bunch of lunatics and dummies. And lunatics and dummies believe anything, but it's a large swath of that, and they're powerful. You got to give it to them. I mean, they running the Republican Party with their dumb, almost cuff. What they do with a bunch of dummies.
Donald Trump after January 6th, and that set the stage for this narrative to emerge that it wasn't an insurrection, that instead these were innocent people, and now it's transitioned into this talk of these individuals being political prisoners. I think it's very worrying. And in that other story, Alex, that you point out, there is a lack of remorse and And that lack of remorse has actually evolved into this feeling of retribution towards the American justice system for holding these people accountable. And I think it's really dangerous for law and order in this country.
Now, this is the former director of Homeland Security. Homeland Security saying all of this.
Gotta wonder if that Proud Boy.
He's a Trump guy, too.
Member who got 6 years will feel the same way. Oh, I'd do 100 years after, I don't know, 6 months. We will see.
Yeah, he said he'd do 100 years. You ain't doing no 100 years. Get out of you crying in there now. Talking about, I think is that the same guy that's claimed that he couldn't get his organic food on time or something like that. So I forgot.
But let's talk about Stephanie Grisham, of course, you know, Trump's former White House press secretary, who said that there were times, quote, when one person or more would advise him that his words could potentially cause violence, and he would just wave his hand at you like he was swatting away a fly, as if to say, whatever, or shut up. Has this irresponsible attitude, Miles, towards violence, has it spread through, you think, the rest of the Republican Party? I mean, you cite Liz Cheney's book, What She Was Sensing 2 weeks later, but really, has it permeated the party?
Yes, absolutely.
Unfortunately, Alex, I think it has.
Yes.
And I say this without even a note of politicism in my motivation. You can just draw a direct line between the rhetoric and the...
This thing got too close to my face. Let's go back. He said you could draw a direct line from the rhetoric to the data.
You can just draw a direct line between the rhetoric and the data showing a huge spike in political intimidation and violence. And we're seeing it around the country. And it's not just hypothetical. We look at what happened in El Paso with the shooting at the Walmart several years ago, where the shooter parroted Donald Trump's rhetoric about an invasion at the southern border as the reason he went in and killed many Latinos who were in the Walmart. We saw it with the Buffalo shooter in New York, who cited the great replacement theory that has again been spread by Republican leaders. He used that as justification to go into a grocery store and to kill Black Americans. And we've seen it as the justification for these individuals who've been arrested for making death threats to members of Congress, death threats to judges around the country. That rhetoric from political leaders is becoming their justification for violence. And I worry about that spilling over in 2024 in a way that we can't contain.
They're justifying their actions based upon the rhetoric of the Republican Party. They don't care nothing about that. They don't care nothing about what's going on, who they harm, who they don't harm, fentanyl, all that stuff. Garbage. They could care less about any of that. They care about getting elected into power. Because look, you don't get elected by being a dummy. You could be crazy, but you're not going to be a dummy. They know, the leaders of the Republican Party know that everyone else is dumb. The followers, the dummies, and they'll do whatever, and they'll vote whatever, and they'll believe whatever, and all of that. That's why they say, woke is gender, it's something with gender or whatever, something bad, right? And y'all believe it. Y'all hook, line, and sinker. Believe it.
Given this new position you have, co-founder of the Future U.S., I want to talk about the dangers of AI to the election. Ahead of Tuesday's New Hampshire.
This is why you should be woke. Right here, he's going to tell you why. This is exactly why you should be woke. Right here.
Primaries, you will know, residents got AI-generated robocalls. They were impersonating President Biden, telling them not to vote in the primary. And the Future U.S. has a PSA that predicted practically this exact same scenario. Let's listen to part of that. Here it is, everyone.
Hi, it's Reverend Jones from the church calling. Hi, Reverend. What's going on? Well, your sister asked me to reach out. Luis, what's up, buddy? It's Danny from the office.
Hey, Care Bear. It's Mom.
Looks like they closed the local polls early. This is your president speaking. Due to a failure in our polling technology, I am using my executive powers to extend the election period. All Americans will have an extra 48 hours to cast their ballots.
At the end of that PSA, you put up a post that says this was all AI generated. It sounded exactly like Joe Biden.
All AI generated. Now, you got to be aware. If you sleep, you don't know nothing about AI, right? You live under a rock. You don't care. You just turn on Fox News and believe whatever they tell you. That's because you sleep. But those of us who are woke, first thing I would do if I got that robocall like that, first thing I'm gonna do is go to the internet and see if there's anything about it on the internet. Because in order to pull off that scam, you'd have to be in cooperation with some type of internet site or whatever. And if it's BS, you don't think the CNN and Fox News and all them going to tell you that the thing got extended for 48 hours? You don't think they would tell you, or would it be just the low level blogger sites or whatever? Oh, yeah. This is why that's what woke is. That's when you wake up and you get this call and you say, okay, let me check this out. Let me make sure that what I'm being told is actually what I'm being told. That's being woke. You sleep. Oh, Joe Biden said, we don't have to do. Okay. That's the difference.
What is the message you want to get across, Miles? And what do you think this big challenge is this year with AI in our election?
Well, Alex, I think this is one of the biggest wild cards in 2024 that your average American is not paying attention to.
The average American is not paying attention to. Guess what that's called? It ain't woke. It's sleep. You distracted. You got bills, all that. Sometimes it's justified. But at the same time, you got to, at some point, you got to, okay, if you got to say, okay, I'm not dealing with that right now. I got a bill to pay or whatever. I got to go to work, this, that, and other. And you don't want to, you want to tune that out. But something like that, or something that affects your life immediately, you don't just listen to people. Like, you don't be at the Trump rally just believing whatever he says. Go research it. Go research it and see if it makes sense. It's not, because you're not going to say that Joe Biden is doing that and you're doing the exact same thing and think I'm going to believe you, because you're a hypocrite. Listen, anywhere you go, whether you go to a mechanic, whether you go to hire an attorney, or you go to wherever you go, you want to be doing business with somebody with some integrity. So in other words, you don't want to drop your car off at the mechanic and then you call him 2-3 days later, like, what's going on with my car? He don't answer your calls. That's not integrity. I had to sue somebody like that, right? That's not integrity. I don't want to do business with you like that. So why is it that somebody that has no integrity, meaning that you're not going to accuse somebody for doing something that you do yourself? Because why? Because if you're talking about it, you're saying it's bad, yet you do it. There's no integrity there, right? And why do you want to do business with somebody who's integrity? Hiring this dude to be, because it's a hire, because this is a job interview. Having this dude be president, hiring this dude to be president, whatever you want to call it. If he has no integrity, why you want to hire? He couldn't even get a job at McDonald's. With all this stuff, if it wasn't Donald Trump, and you take the Donald Trump brand out the mix, right? And you put the indictments on him, and you put the judgments and all that, and you write that on your application, they're gonna kick you out of McDonald's. You can't get a job at Burger King, Taco Bell, none of that. But you want to be president, and you're gonna let him be president. If people that don't want to see Trump to be president don't rise up like they did last time. But I guarantee you, if he win, there was no cheating. When he loses, everybody cheated. And then what you gonna say? He told us it's gonna happen before it happened. Yeah.
Know that the contest between Trump and Biden is going to be very contentious. They know that the overall political climate is going to be contentious, but most Americans, I think, don't yet appreciate how much artificial intelligence enabled attacks are going to impact this year's election. And we did that clip. In fact, we conceived of that public service announcement almost 6 months ago, thinking that it wouldn't be until closer to November that we would see deepfake robocalls impacting our election. And now, we just saw that in New Hampshire with a deepfake robocall to Biden, but it's going to get more difficult to thwart because we think we're going to see these interactive deepfake robocalls where the recipients of the phone calls aren't going to know that they're on the phone with someone who might discourage them from going to the polls, who might spread disinformation about militants at the polls. this could go a lot of different directions. And so we're trying to sound the alarm, make Americans aware. And I will say that the Biden administration at CISA, at DHS, is doing a really good job of staying on top of the threat. But I'm hearing a lot from local officials who feel like they are not prepared. So we're doing our best to try to prepare them in the lead up to November to make them aware of these new threats and the deluge of deepfakes we expect to see. But there's a lot of work to be done between now and election day.
Yeah, it is downright scary. So
and the reason why that's even a thing because politicians know that y'all be asleep. And when somebody's woke, they turn it into something bad. Oh, he's militant. He's this. He's that. He's all these other things. He's he's woke. So therefore he wants to mutilate kids or whatever kind of false narrative they put on that. False negative narrative they put on it. Because you ask a MAGA dude or MAGA woman what woke is, and they're gonna say something about gender and you want something that you don't. It's none of that. Being woke is understanding that the police beat you down in the street, they violate your rights. You don't have to show them your ID in certain circumstances. You don't have to be subjected to nonsense from the police. That's why Colin Kaepernick was kneeling, because that was a woke. That was being woke, because he's trying to awaken people. He's trying to awaken people to see, like, hey, this ain't fair. It ain't fair that just because of the color of my skin, I get pulled over and thrown on the ground or shot or killed. It's not fair. So let's let America know and see if they even care. Listen, that's why I don't never speak on the other issues that don't involve me. Like, you got the Muslim conflict and Gaza and all this. I don't speak on that. You know why? Because they wasn't speaking on police brutality. They wouldn't speak. They wouldn't for us. Not as a large swath, maybe a few, but they wasn't speaking on it. So I'm not gonna speak on that either. I don't even know nothing about it. I don't want to know nothing about it. You didn't want nothing about my issues. I don't want to know nothing about your issues. I don't care, actually. You know what I'm saying? Whatever was going on with you, you handle it like we handle ours. We handle ours the way we handle ours. You handle yours over there. Now, you probably gonna get different treatment, whether it be better or worse. You're gonna get different treatment from different people, because black people, we treated like we don't deserve nothing. You say reparations. Oh my God. Yeah. Try to tell a victim of some type of crime that's traumatizing, and just say, "Oh, just get over it." They're gonna pass that down. You don't think she's gonna pass that trauma down generation to generation? You don't think it's gonna happen? You don't think it's gonna happen? Look what's going on in the black community right now. This is all trauma. You shoot somebody. Okay, look, I watch 448. A lot of times they do go to jail for 30, 40 years. For robbery, they didn't even know how much money the guy had that they was trying to rob. Like, you don't value your life. You don't value the other person's life. You don't value nothing. You're crying because you're going away, but you knew the consequences when you were doing that. Why? Our fathers are not in the home. We steadily making babies. Their father's not in the home. Somebody told me the other day, I don't date somebody that don't have no kids. That's insane. To me, I don't have any kids, because I was terrified that I'd be irresponsible on raising kids, because I went through a situation that wasn't exactly ideal in terms of parenting. So I didn't want to pass that down. I was terrified. But some people don't care. Some people pass that stuff down. Look, that's exactly what happens. You get the trauma of slavery, it passes down. At some point, people just say, like, forget, there's no hope. You build up an entire community in Oklahoma and call it Black Wall Street. And because people around there are jealous and they got all this hatred in their heart, they they'll look at you, they might let you live for a while, but then after you get one little speck of something, burnt the whole neighborhood down. Had planes flying over it and everything. Burying, got whole in Oklahoma, got whole cemeteries paved over. Yeah, we talk about reparations. Oh no, they don't need. Well, I'm gonna have to pay for that. You paved over the grave. There's long lasting stuff, positive that happened in different communities, and there's long lasting bad things that happen in communities. Listen, you don't mind sending money to Donald Trump, who's a billionaire, for his legal fees. Why you can't allocate some money to help out the communities that's been affected by slavery? So that's my soapbox, and I'm gonna get out of here. But yeah, so to the MAGA, y'all better wake up. Y'all telling me I need to wake up? Y'all better wake up. What's woke? Ask yourself what woke is. Oh, it's gender. It has something to do with gender. No. Woke is when you get that robocall, you go on the internet and find out if it's actually true. Woke is understanding that there's a disparity in how police treat certain people, and you fighting to change that. That's woke. I'm not going to just sit here and let you do whatever you want to do. You don't do them people like that over there, but you want to do us over here like that. I'm not going to sit here and let you do that. That's woke. Letting a kid at 12 years old say that they want to change what their gender is and they want to do surgery to do it, and you can't even go to the liquor store and buy a beer or cigarettes. No, that's not woke. That's what the right tell you what woke is. I'm telling you, it's not. That's not what it is. And listen, are there some weirdos on the left? Absolutely. I don't. If you ask a politician what a woman is and you can't answer, you're a lunatic. Or you understand the political ramifications of that, because the LGBT political arm is heavy and swift. That's why you got black actors putting on dresses. Because a lot of the people that run these studios is LGBT. Look at Diddy. You got TD Jakes over there twerking on stage. This dude's a pastor, right? It's crazy. So listen, woke ain't what they said it is. I'm gonna tell you that. I don't care nothing about that. And listen, again, woke is not saying that because this dude wants to be a woman and competed as a swimmer 2 years ago and was terrible, and now you want to say you a woman and now you want to compete in a woman's thing and win the championship. That's not woke. That's a scam. That's not woke. That's a scam. Because listen, you should never be able to do that. You should never, because you have an advantage. You have an advantage of competing as a man. Listen, in the two sports, there's differences. Serena Williams herself would tell you that the lowest ranked person in the men's tennis could probably beat her. They serving way harder. They hit the ball harder, everything. Now, if you do that and you compete and you're the last one on the totem pole in the rankings as a man, and then all of a sudden 2 years later you a woman now, you're gonna come over there and you're gonna beat Serena Williams. Hasn't happened yet. Could though, if you keep doing that. That's why I believe that transgenders should have their own sports. Just like you got men's sports, you got women's sports, because you can't put a man against a woman. Just like but if you was a man, if you was born a man and then you transition into a woman, you shouldn't be able to compete against a woman either, because you used to be one. You have advantages, bone structure, all that stuff. You had testosterone in your body for years. Shouldn't be able to do that. Just like you shouldn't be able to change your gender in a surgery if you can't buy cigarettes. Period. Listen, I'm telling you that's not what woke is. Woke is you're not finna just tell me anything and I'm gonna believe it. That's what woke is. Now, go run with that. Go tell somebody that. Because a lot of these people that are against being woke don't even know what it is. I'm telling you what it is. So with that, this is the Hood Trucker for the Hood Trucker News. Appreciate you stopping by. We're gonna be on tomorrow. We're doing it every day now. We're gonna be on tomorrow, right? And we're gonna have the discussion. I think one of these lives, we're gonna just look at the comments. We're gonna post the comments. We're gonna look at the comments. I had some people in there that was really upset with me. But listen, I try to bring a little humor, but I try to bring a lot of reality. And look, you don't like reality, you sleep. You're not woke, you sleep. But that's a good thing for you, according to Ron DeSantis. So with that, enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the like button, become a member, support the channel so we can hammer these people who need to be hammered. Till next time.